Hello and welcome back to the Dean's Data Depot. Today is Thursday, February 10th, and we are 3 days out from Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles, which features the hometown LA Rams, champions of the NFC, and the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals. Today we're going to look at two factors that can provide some insight into the possible outcome of Sunday's game at SoFi Stadium. Those two factors are geography, or the physical proximity of each team to the Super Bowl city, and offense and defensive rankings, and how those have historically contributed to success in the Super Bowl. In each of the last 4 Super Bowls, the team that was physically closer to the site of the Super Bowl was victorious. In 2017, the Eagles knocked off the Patriots in the brand new US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The following year, the Patriots had the shorter travel down to Atlanta than the cross-country trek made by the Rams, and they ended up beating LA 13-3 in Super Bowl 53. The following year, San Francisco had to make the trek across the country and ultimately lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, who had to travel about half as far in Super Bowl 54. Super Bowl 55 featured the first time ever that the host team had made the Super Bowl, as the host Tampa Bay Buccaneers knocked off the reigning champion Kansas City Chiefs. Once again, the host team will play as the hometown LA Rams are playing host to the Cincinnati Bengals, who are traveling nearly 2,500 miles to play in Super Bowl 56. Beyond just the last 4 years, 13 of the last 16 Super Bowls have gone the way of the geographically closer team. The 3 exceptions have been New England, with their wins in 2016 and 2014 over Atlanta and Seattle, which were played in Houston and Phoenix respectively, as well as Seattle, who beat Denver in Super Bowl 48 in 2013 at MetLife Stadium in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Now moving to the offensive and defensive ranking analysis. Here is a plot of every team to make the Super Bowl since 1970 by offensive and defensive rank. As you can see, with the winners in green and losers in red, the teams lower on the y-axis are mostly green, meaning they had a good defense. This has tended to lead to higher success, while teams low on the x-axis, a good offense, are more likely to be red if their defense is mediocre, and even sometimes if they have a good defense. Now, if we break down these average rankings by the winners and losers, on offense, the average ranking for a winning Super Bowl team is an offense that is just inside the top 8. For losers, it's ironically slightly better, inside the top 7. For defense is where the real difference is. For defense, Super Bowl winning teams have an average ranking of 7.44, while Super Bowl losing teams are on the outside of the top 10, at almost 11 with a 10.88 average ranking. Now let's make this board a little larger for this next part. This is how teams have performed based on the relative ranks on offense and defense relative to one another. To set the baseline, the Rams this year had the 9th best total offense, while Cincy had the 13th. On defense, the Rams were once again better, but by a slim margin, having the 17th ranked defensive unit compared to the Bengals' 18th best. Since 1970, teams with the better offense have gone 20-30, or a .400 winning percentage. Breaking that down further, the team with the better defense has gone 12-9, good for a 57.1 win percentage. And a reminder from a moment ago, the Rams fit into this category, a better defense and better offense. Now, if the Rams had a worse defense than the Bengals, the historic win percentage for those teams is a hair over 27.5%, going 8-21 in those games. Now, going over the defensive side of the ball, teams with a better defense have gone 33-16 in the Super Bowl, a 66.6 win percentage. Once again, the Rams had both the better defense and offense, and those teams have gone 12-9. The teams with a better defense and worse offense have actually performed better, winning the Super Bowl at a 72.4% clip. The Bengals fit neither of these categories, given they have a worse offense and defense. Those teams have gone 9-12, a 42.9% win percentage. How do these two teams fit into the historical landscape of Super Bowl teams? Here are the 3 most similar teams by ranking to both the Rams and the Bengals. The most similar team for the Rams and Bengals are the 2009 Colts and 1999 Titans respectively. Both teams with decent defenses and high-powered offenses that were stymied by their opponents' elite defenses late in the big game. There are a few winners on this list. There are a few winning teams on this list, as the Rams share some similarities to the Chiefs team that won it all just a couple years ago. And the Bengals show some resemblance to the 2012 Ravens, who, in an aside, put a dagger through my Broncos country heart in the divisional round of that season. A question still remains. Why doesn't either team show an overwhelming favoritism in this game? Data has shown that both of these teams have a decent shot. Neither team exhibits sheer domination on either side of the ball, particularly on defense. The difference in win percentage between teams with a top 10 defense and those with defenses outside the top 10 is over 20%. For offense, it doesn't change For offense, though, it doesn't change and stays static at around 50%. If you look at top 5, top 3, and top overall defenses, that percentage doesn't change. But the defensive number is key. Both teams this year, though, were in the bottom half of the league in team defense. If we look at just defense and how that changes if you refine it to the top 10, 5, 3, and 1 teams, you can see that the win percentage increases for each one of those levels. As mentioned, top 10 defenses win the Super Bowl 56.7% of the time. However, top 5 defenses win at a 63.6% rate. Top 3 defenses win 2/3 of the time, or 66.7%, and teams with the number 1 overall defense win the Super Bowl more than 80% of the time in which they play. Specifically, it's exactly 83.3%, giving empirical support of the phrase defense wins championships. This is exhibited by the 2015 Broncos, 2013 Seahawks, 2008 Steelers, and 2002 Buccaneers, who all won Super Bowls since the turn of the century with number 1 overall defenses. The average offensive ranking of those 4 teams was almost 20. Another interesting tidbit is that those teams all won the Super Bowl, scoring less than 50% of their points in the big game on offense, with a combined total of 39.7% of the total points from those 4 teams coming from the offense. For reference, in the last 4 Super Bowls, the winning teams have scored a combined 72.4% of their points on offense. The last bit of data is the model constructed from the ranking data over the last 50 Super Bowls, which gives Cincinnati a 55-45 edge over the LA Rams in Super Bowl 56. Be sure to follow Dean's Data Depot on Twitter to get live stats and insights throughout the big game. I'm Jeffrey Dean. I'll see you next time.